Hi guys, this is Mike Malarkey coming to you from St. John, Missouri. I have a master's degree in business administration with the emphasis on management. I'd like to talk a little bit about brownfields, EPA brownfields and EPA greenfields. See, some people knowingly are sent to an EPA brownfield or an area that's otherwise highly contaminated with toxins. When we call something a toxin, that means it's deadly. It can be and is deadly. So some people knowingly send people to brownfields or otherwise highly toxic areas. They knowingly do this. And then of course, in the event that there's a casualty, such as a death, the person is, they have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for their health care. They very often lose all their earnings and or otherwise all their property, and they suffer loss of life. And that's very sad. So who's liable for this? So if someone knowingly lives in or knowingly is sent to a brownfield or a highly toxic area, are they liable for healthcare costs, and are they liable for financial costs, financial loss, and loss of property? Well, in my opinion, they're not. And who is liable? Who can be held criminally culpable? Especially if you send a young person, you knowingly send a young person who is in a pretty nice area, a green field, meaning there's not a lot of toxins there, not a lot of deadly toxins there, and you knowingly send them to an area with a lot of toxins. Well, it's my opinion that the person that sent them there, to include the government, is liable. So some administrations try to rescue you from a toxic area, like they did in Love Canal in New York. Other administrations just leave you there. Some administrations help you, with diet and exercise and lifestyle that can prolong your life and minimize the effects of the deadly toxins. Other administrations don't. Other administrations try to proliferate alcohol, tobacco, dry drugs, and other harmful things, and then blame your lifestyle. The Veterans Administration is involved in this type of thing right now as to veterans. What's affecting their health? Several years and generations of military service involving highly toxic substances and lots of noise. In my mind, an explosion is a sound wave. It's sonar, it's a sound wave. And that's what's causing the disruption of your central nervous system, disconnecting your brain waves to your spine, your central nervous system, causing what's known as PTSD, which used to be known as shell shock, which is simply your brain and your central nervous system, your spine, your spinal cord, is disconnecting. It's not communicating well. And some of these people are just so disconnected, their brain from their spinal cord, that they're incapacitated. And they're just severely incapacitated. And that's from sound waves, cannon fire, things like that. But anyway, so the VA is doing a study, or was doing a study, about your lifestyle. Well, it's not the tobacco they give you. The tobacco they give you is anesthesia. It's why your brain is still functioning and your central nervous system is still functioning. The tobacco has anesthetic or anesthesia, laughing gas. It has those type of properties, and so does marijuana, and so does opiates, and the government gives you all that while you're in service, and it's why you don't have shell shock or PTSD. See, when you're severely wounded, the wound doesn't kill you, the shock does. So they administer opiates right away to try to stop the pain, and then the shock doesn't kill you. So anyway, is it a lifestyle thing, you know? And is this lifestyle related to military service? So very often this lifestyle thing is related to military service. And while they want to have what they call broadening or narrowing of insurance laws, you know, and while they want to narrowly construe an insurance law, including the Constitution, and say, well, you didn't work at Mallinckrodt, so you're not covered with their benefits. Well, Mallinckrodt produced nuclear weapons and then produced pharmaceuticals, and lots of people just lived right across the street from it, and lots of people suffered nuclear contamination. And you know, certain administrations won't even treat them. And of course, hopes of them getting a job, well, that's slim to none. And some administrations won't even treat these people, and whatever treatment they get, they want to make it at their expense or the expense of the state of Missouri. And so, like, I asked some of these companies, I let it be known that some of these companies ought to, you know, pay some more money to Blue Cross, because it ends up being the church funded by Blue Cross that treats these people. Because the church has like a large number of hospitals. They have like something like 30 or 40% of the medical care sector. And it's funded by Blue Cross and other companies. And what it is that they want to, we want them to use the money to further the practice. And then of course there's several dollars in use. And so the beneficiary is able to pay for you know, their care and get some benefit from it too. You know, and so is the company, and so is the medical school, and the doctor's office, and the hospital, and the staff. So you know, the medical staff is basically paid from Blue Cross, and so is the medical school and the hospital itself. So anyway, we want them to use the money to further the practice of medicine. And then of course, everybody like gets paid, you know. So, because there's like more than $1 in play. So anyway, some of these companies like General Electric, they can like put some money into Blue Cross to help pay for some of the damage they did. Well, they went out and had this stupid bankruptcy that just like, which means they just took their money to some safe. They converted their money to gold or whatever, or diamonds or whatever. They went and hid it in some safe somewhere. So you like, they think that like, we can't pierce the veil. Piercing the veil doesn't mean anybody's a king. Piercing the veil means we can go to the stockholders to get our money, you know. And so they take all the money out of the company, and they go put it like in a safe with gold or diamonds or whatever, or cash in like some other vehicle. They put it in some other, you know, these financial whatever papers are pretty much known as vehicles. So they pull all the money out of one company and put it in another. They think we can't like track it down. But anyway, I just wanted them to pay some money, which I think they have. So these companies, like, there's a number of these companies that, you know, are part of the Manhattan Project, which ended up being part of the nuclear weapons production. And while there's a number of the neighbors that live near these farms that are affected by that. And, okay, which companies are serving them? Blue Cross ends up serving them, or the church ends up serving them, if they get service at all. You know, and what does the government do? Well, the government very often runs a vice rate. So there is a good use for these drugs, but there's also, if these people do, you know, wrong with it, they want to use it for recreation, and they do a lot wrong with it, and then they blame the person that they don't blame the provider of the drug, they blame the user of the drug, just like they do with alcohol. They don't blame the provider of the alcohol, they blame the user of the alcohol. Well, the Congress sees it differently. The provider of the alcohol is at fault, and the user of the alcohol is a victim of a crime. So anyway, please remember that. And what you can do, you can research where you're going or your loved one is going as to the toxins in that area on a website called Scorecard. There's probably other websites, but you have to do this research yourself to find out if your loved one is being sent to a contaminated area before they suffer loss of life, suffer loss of property, suffer loss of money and earnings. So anyway, you don't have to go to a contaminated area to earn a living, especially if you're in a green field or an area that has less or little So anyway, have a nice day, and keep happy thoughts.